Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Sophie Jordan Collins and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings and Sophie Jordan Collins.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable After Dark show. I'm your host, Sophie Jordan Collins, joined by the lovely Ted Ings.
And I am joined by the lovely Wonder Woman this evening. And you did a quick change. And, Sophie, I think people are just starting to find out about this Avengers theme. And I think it's going to be very catchy because that's a dramatic opening. And we got a lot of great footage and a lot of great characters, courtesy of you and Sarah Van Tyne.
It is. I know. I don't know about you, but every time that intro plays, I just get fired up. It makes me excited. So
I know, right? And you got the... you don't let it go to your head. You're going to think that every time you walk into a room, Michael Cirillo is going to announce your name. And, it's a good feeling though, right? It
is. It is. I do wish he announced my name every time I walked in a room. Maybe
one day. Well, maybe we can talk to him and do that. So earlier today, we had the big pop-up event at Northwood University in Michigan, where you come from, Sophie. And, so what was that experience like? This was your first real automotive fixed ops roundtable in-person event, and you were on the big stage.
Yeah, it was incredible, Ted. I love all the virtual stuff we do, and talking with you guys virtually is so awesome. But there's just something special about being in person with people, getting that face-to-face connection. It was really, really exciting, and I learned a lot. Not only are you guys amazing in the automotive industry, but I also feel like since everybody's such a genuine person, they're always giving awesome life advice and leadership advice in the midst of talking about automotive in their panels. So it was really insightful and I learned a lot.
I got to tell you, Sophie, I've been in the industry a long time. I learn something every time we do an event, and great optics here. Here you are on the panel that opened the event, on the left, Sarah on the right, and I thought the red would be a good color, okay, but I didn't know quite how good it would be, but it really pops. And here's Mike Stoll and the famous Cole Briggs. Everybody wanted a picture with Cole and LG Bright, and that really is a good-looking panel, and that was an amazing way to open the event. So,
yeah, it was.
So, we did a lot of interviews, okay, and I got a couple things that we're going to share tonight with our audience. By the way, I want to thank BG Products, our exclusive sponsor of the After Dark show, partner beyond products. And we learned a lot about BG as well at this event. We'll talk about that.
Did, yeah.
And very grateful to them. And you have some trivia coming up at the end of the show?
I do. I have some trivia. We're going to test your knowledge, test the viewers' knowledge.
Okay. All right. So pop-up event happened today and a little bit earlier in Michigan. And you and Sarah were there, and I know we did a lot of things while we were in Michigan, starting with a little bit of time that you guys spent on the lot. What are you doing here? Looks like you're at a dealership.
Yeah, we were taking some selfies, some social media videos. I don't know if y'all are aware, but for a while there was a joke going around that I was an AI version of Sarah Van Tyne. That was a comment that we got on LinkedIn. So we found out that since we're in person together at the same time, I couldn't be an AI version of Sarah Van Tyne because there we are together in the flesh. So we were showing that off to the world.
You just proved that theory. So how did it feel, Sophie? I don't think you've done social media stuff on a dealership lot until, we went to Michigan. How did that feel to do all that? And of course, to have the lovely Sarah Van Tyne with you as well.
Yeah, well, Sarah's awesome. So she brings lots of creative ideas, of course, for the videos. So that was super fun. And then also, it's just extra fun to shoot social media content for the Fixed Ops Roundtable while we're surrounded by cars. It just adds that extra element. So it was a lot of fun.
And you guys were throwing some objections around. What's going on here?
We were. So BG Products, we love BG Products, and they're so fun, everything they do. So of course they have these awesome little volleyballs that have prompts on them. I believe they use them in their BG school is what we talked about, but Sarah and I were just playing around with them and they had some different prompts. So that was super cool.
Yep. So these are the BG volleyballs used at the BG University to help overcome customer objections for various BG services. Some of them are listed on the volleyballs. So We had some fun with that, and you shot some video with that. And of course, Dan Shine from Automotive News joined us for a little bit. And I didn't realize how far up north Northwood University is. I mean, that's not like, around the corner. You really got to be deliberate to go there if you're in the Detroit area.
Yeah, you do. It's about 2 hours or so.
Beautiful campus though, and a lot of students. And I think they really rolled out the red carpet for us, and they treated us, really well with everything that went on there. And I thought the highlight, was when you and Sarah did the student interviews, and you had a number of panels. Tell us about those, because I thought those, really brought out the best, in the students at the university.
Yeah, no, those were so fun talking with the students and just how excited they are about, the future and their careers in the automotive industry. And I was shocked at just how well spoken they were. And it was just super exciting to hear about them and their future goals.
Really well spoken, right? I mean, this panel here was one of 3, that we did, but you really had some talent on there. And Sophie, you and Sarah had some great questions. What were some of the things that you talked about? Just to kind of recap what that was all about.
Yeah, so we would ask the students about like their career goals for the future, what they saw themselves doing, how they're involved in their school and the day-to-day. They told us a lot about life at Northwood University and how Northwood helps to prepare them for the future. A lot of them talked about how hands-on Northwood is compared to other schools, and that's what drew a lot of them there. They also talked about, for those of you who don't know, Northwood is extremely well known for their automotive marketing major because not a lot of schools have that. So we got to speak with some students in that major, which is super cool to hear about them and their future plans.
So in this picture on the left, of course, Sophie, and you've got some marketing students here. You've got Brooke Engelhart, who's on the marketing. I think she runs the marketing committee for the International Auto Show that was held while we were there. The young man in the middle, his name is Carson. I'm going to fumble his last name. Gutovs, was there. And then, of course, Katrina Ness next to Sarah. But just fascinating conversation that you had with these students. And again, I think that, they brought out the best in the university. And if it's okay, I want to show a little clip from that interview, from that panel, where you led the questioning, Sophie, and give everybody a taste, if you missed it earlier, on the pop-up event. So here we go.
That's incredible. So all 3 of y'all seem to be very well spoken, and y'all are definitely showing off that you're leaders. And I know that one of Northwood's pride and joy is that they empower their students to be leaders. So I'm curious, what are some things you've learned at Northwood that are going to help you to have a successful career?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, one of the things that I have learned after currently holding many different leadership positions, but also having quite a few positions as even underneath a leader, is just knowing that holding these positions gives me the opportunity to take, again, what I spoke about earlier, taking what I'm learning in the classroom and applying it to these positions and being involved in real world experiences for sure.
Northwood, excuse me, Northwood has really taught me a lot about being a leader and how different leadership types work, and giving us real life examples, and the professors here having jobs before this, like where they have big leadership positions, and them telling us how they did and what they did to become a good leader, and then giving us the auto show so we can exemplify what we have learned from them so that we can try it out ourselves and see what we like. And we have multiple years here to figure out what type of leadership we would want and how we can exemplify that through our everyday lives. And having internships also to help get us acclimated to those different types of leaderships that they teach us, and seeing which one fits for us. And that is very important. And making sure that we have our own leadership styles, and finding out who we are is what Northwood is really here for. And I think that is really important.
Yeah, I agree. So Northwood, besides Auto Show, it has a bunch of other events for the different majors. And it really just pushes like students running these events, and it gives great leadership opportunities. You can't read a textbook about leadership and
immediately be a leader. You have to go out and do it yourself before you run out into the industry and do it in your own professional career. So Northwood really provides those opportunities to learn about leadership hands-on, and that's just really what Northwood is about. It's about hands-on learning and running these events and just having those experiences and getting that stuff under your belt so you look great for job applications in the future.
So I was meaning to ask you, because you were right there, were the students nervous at all? Because they seemed pretty poised.
I don't think they were nervous. We also, Sarah and I had a chance to like chat with them a little bit before and like kind of give them the lowdown on what we were going to ask. So yeah, I don't think they were nervous, but honestly, they didn't have a lot of time to prepare. So I'm assuming since they're just such awesome leaders and students, they were just very eloquent naturally.
So the Northwood University has an automotive school. It's not all automotive, Northwood, but a big part of it is. And when we were there with Sarah Van Tyne, we were a part of their 60th International Auto Show. And this young gentleman here, by the way, these are two of the stars of the whole thing that went on, okay, at Northwood. Everybody wanted their picture with either Cole Briggs or with Sophie Jordan Collins. Talk to us about Cole, because I think he's a pretty amazing young man. He's had a big responsibility for almost a year now to put this show together, and it all culminated in the last couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, their auto show is so amazing because it's completely student run, and Cole was the chair, which means he was kind of big guns in the midst of it. But yeah, he's awesome. I guess he's studying for his master's right now too, which that blew my mind. So he's running this entire student run auto show while also pursuing his master's degree. So it's just so awesome to see what these students are doing, and very inspiring.
Okay, so tell us a story. We got there the first night. We came in an Uber. Many of us crammed into the Uber. Yourself and Sarah and me, and I believe Anthony, one of our guests, was there as well. And we were driving around the campus. We couldn't find, because there's a lot of buildings, right? It's a big campus. We couldn't find the right one. And Cole, wearing a suit and tie, gave it away because I think Sarah saw a golf cart and she saw what she believed to be Cole going by. Tell us the story about that and how that ended up.
Yeah. I mean, we were all crammed in the back of the car. We were in pretty desperate times, and one of our crew members, he decided to yell out the window, "Cole, Cole!" because we were like, "We think that's Cole." So he was screaming, and good old Cole pulled over to the side in his golf cart. He's like, "I didn't know who you guys were. I didn't know who was screaming my name, but I pulled over just in case." And luckily it ended up being Cole. So Sarah and I ended up getting out of our crammed car, and we took the golf cart with Cole. And we did get to the right place after a good little adventure. So,
but you didn't just take the golf cart. You got on the back of the golf cart in rainy weather.
We did.
I mean, that looked like a real spectacle. You guys leading the way in front of the Uber that the rest of us were in.
It was, yes. And every time we would hit a speed bump, Sarah and I would hold on for dear life. So it was a good time.
All right. It looked like it. So I think you guys had a great time, and you met a lot of students. You certainly, I think this was the highlight of the show. Okay, being on the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Not everybody was able to be on a Fixed Ops Roundtable, and what you and what Sarah did, was really a big part of this. And there were a couple big interviews on this show. Sophie, we had some of the captains of industry, if you will, there, and some of the people that we had included Jen Cole from CDK Global and Mike Stahl. How about this guy, Mike Stahl? I mean, is he like a networker or what? What would you say?
Yeah, no, Mike is so great. He's so funny too, because on our first panel we did with him, I feel like he was quite quiet, and you made a joke about him being quiet, and I was like, "Oh, Mike must be quiet." And then no, the next day, I came out of his shell and I realized, no, Mike's not. He's not a super quiet guy. It was all just an act. But yeah, no, he's a great networker. I met so many cool people through Mike, and yeah, everybody at CDK Global is awesome. So
now the companies, the players behind and we met so many people from CDK.
Yeah.
This gentleman here, Brian McDonald, is the president and CEO of CDK. Global, and he did a great interview. We kept him waiting for the interview, right? We were running a little behind, but I thought some of the things that he said was fascinating, Sophie. He made the statement, and it was played on the pop-up today, that 2.6% of the United States GDP, gross domestic product, runs on CDK's platform every month. And I had him repeat that. He said, yeah, 2.6% of the United States gross domestic product is run on CDK, and over 53% of all automotive repair orders in the North America and the whole continent go through CDK. So that is a lot of business and a lot of money that goes through CDK. And we got to spend about 20 minutes, during that interview. And it was the second time I interviewed him, but first time in person. I thought I thought he and the others were all pretty comfortable up there. They didn't look nervous at all.
Yeah, I think pretty much every speaker we had, I thought seemed extremely comfortable. And I do think that's a testament, Ted, to both you and Sarah creating such a welcoming environment when you guys interview people. But yeah, it was awesome.
Well, you were involved as well in a bunch of the interviews. And I had a phone call the day before the pop-up from this gentleman here. His name is Zach Fox. He's with BG Products, and he lives about 20 minutes away. And I said, Zach, you better get over here because we're going to get a chance to meet you in person. And I'm so glad that he came. And Zach gave us a great interview. He's a real, mover and shaker at BG. He's working his way up the ladder. He's high up already. He's really going places, and he's doing some remarkable things. And Zach Fox is just, a wonderful person, and, so much going on there with BG. So I'm glad you had a chance to see all that as well. And we learned a lot about, these companies and the students, and certainly about Northwood. I mean, what a fascinating school. And there was an event on the last morning that you and Sarah were involved in. Tell us a little bit about that. That was not Fixed Ops Roundtable at all.
No, yeah. So there was a women's in automotive panel on Saturday at Northwood, and basically they had 10 different female leaders in the automotive industry. Sarah was one of the featured speakers, along with Kathy Gilbert and Jen Cole and so many other incredible women. But the setup was super duper awesome too. So there was 10 tables with 1 to 2 of these female leaders at each table, and us students, we would rotate from, I'll consider myself one of the students for now. I was joined in, but the students, we would rotate throughout the room going from table to table. So we really got to chat like one-on-one with these women in automotive, which was so interesting. And not only were they able to speak to us and give us advice, but since it was such a small setting, they also were able to chat with us and really make those one-on-one connections. So it was super awesome.
So it looks like in this picture on your left, that's Jen Cole. She's sitting next to you.
Yes, yeah. Yep, and Kathy Gilbert was across from me there as well.
And we gave Kathy a ride to the Saginaw Airport.
We did.
But I've known Kathy for a number of years. And now this Women in Automotive is not the Women in Automotive that Kathy is known for. This was more of a Northwood event sponsored by CDK Global. So it was fascinating. And like you said, Sarah was invited in. Here she is at her table. And this is kind of like speed dating, right, Sophie? I mean, like everyone, like it was every 8 to 10 minutes, you guys had to move from table to table?
Yeah, it was awesome.
And there's Sarah answering questions, and had some great questions from students. And this was a really wonderful event, and they honored a number of ladies. And like you said, I think Sarah was one of 10, right? Leaders.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a moment, because a lot of industries, are not intentional, where automotive has been historically a male-dominated industry, right? A lot of men, working, mechanics, men in the dealership. And, there weren't a lot of women, for a long time in our industry. And, Sarah shared some stories, right, from when she started off and how hard it was for her breaking in as a salesperson, 10, 11, 12 years ago. But automotive is really making a lot of strides. We really want to let people know that automotive is a great place to work. You can make a good living and then some in automotive. And to recognize women, as not just working in the dealership, but women leaders, leading companies, leading as dealers. And, how do you feel about, the message there that, for women in automotive?
Yeah, honestly, it was really awesome. One of the questions that the ladies answered at the tables was actually if they had ever felt that they were looked at as like less upon being a female in the automotive industry as opposed to men. And it was actually really exciting to hear that most of them said no, or that they had noticed it had gotten a lot better. But some of the women were genuinely like, yeah, no, I've never felt that I've been looked at as less than. And that was really exciting to me because I know that it hasn't always been that way, but a lot of them said that things were really good right now. So that's exciting to know that we're kind of moving forward, and it's due to, events such as that one, highlighting those women in the leadership positions is letting the next generation know that they too can make those changes.
And we do our best at the Fixed Ops Roundtable also, to highlight women, the careers in automotive, and we're intentional that we want, when we have panels, that they're equally represented by men and women, okay, on both. On the way up there, when we stopped at that dealership and we visited with that salesperson, Ali Rita, tell us about this experience, because you were directly a part of that interview with myself and Sarah, and you met Ali, #1 in the world, automotive salesperson. He's been in the industry just over 22 years. And tell us about that, because you interacted with his staff and his team, ladies who work for him. Tell us what this was all about.
Yeah, gosh, that was so incredible. Ali is just such a genuine human being. Even just talking to him prior to the interview, you just realize he's such a genuine person. But what I really loved is that he talked a lot about just building relationships with people and authentically putting yourself out there, because he talked a lot about how sometimes people in sales positions can be very like loud or in your face. And Ali talked about how he was just genuine to himself and just took an interest in other people. And he wasn't forcing anything or forcing himself to be loud or be somebody that he wasn't, but he was just being really authentic with people. And through that, he's able to build relationships. And from those relationships, he's able to then make sales. And he talked a lot about how mentors enabled him to have a growth mindset, because at first he was like, okay, I can make, 30 sales a month, which a lot of people look at as, a good amount of sales. But he was like, no, why just 30? Like, why stop at 30? Yes, 30 sales is amazing if you're doing that each month, but why not 60? And then his growth mindset was just so inspiring as well. So that's an amazing interview that people are going to get a lot of good stuff out of.
I know you asked him about it. Did you get a chance to see the secret handshake that he uses?
I wink, wink. We'll say yes, I did. People are going to have to check out the interview to find out, Ted, to find out what that secret handshake is.
Okay. All right. So there was so much in the pop-up that we could not fit that into this pop-up, because the pop-up has so many amazing interviews. So we're going to run the Ali Rita interview a little bit later in October, everybody. You're going to get a chance to see that. And just an amazing interview. You're going to want to, be part of that. And that has everything to do with Fixed Ops, because you're right. The growth mindset, regardless of where you work or what you do, and believing that you can. And you're exactly right. 30 was always considered the highest. If I could get to 30 cars a month selling, that would be, amazing, let alone, it's hard to get into the 20s, let alone to 30. But for him to have months of 100, and I think he told us, Sophie, he's had a couple times he did 209 cars himself in a month.
Yeah, that is absolutely mind-boggling. Crazy.
So, anyway, a great leader and a great person. And you're right. He's genuine. I don't see him, putting the hard clothes on anybody. He's not high pressure at all. He's all, relationships, and as it should be. All right. So we have a big event coming up. We have a lot of pop-ups coming, but we've also got a big event coming up at the end of, it's in the middle of November, right?
Mm-hmm. November 13th through 16th. So it's coming up quick, Ted. It's almost just a month away. It's crazy.
This is the 4-day Avengers event, virtual, November 13th through the 16th, everybody. So we're in Avengers mode. Wonder Woman is here with us tonight. And you've got some trivia for us and for the audience.
I do, Ted.
All right. Now, I don't know if I'll be any good to you on the trivia. So, audience, we need you to help out. And are these multiple choice?
There are multiple choice, yes. So put your letter in the chat, friends.
All right.
All right. Question number 1. In Avengers Endgame, which Infinity Stone does Natasha sacrifice herself for? A, Reality Stone, B, Soul Stone, or C, Space Stone?
Can we get one of these gloves?
Oh, we should.
We should. Yeah, right. Michelle was telling me that. We should look into that.
Mm-hmm.
Might come in handy. All right. Is it A, Reality Stone, B, put your answer in the chat, everybody, B, Soul Stone, or C, Space Stone? Now, did you know the answer to this question going in?
That does not matter, Ted. I did not. I did not know this answer. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I am currently watching all the Avengers movies though to get some good trivia questions. So.
Okay. So what do we got? Which one? Is it A, B, or C?
Is B, Soul Stone.
Oh, all right. If you had Soul Stone, everybody, you got it correct.
You got
in our
it.
Auto Avengers trivia. So 1 down. Okay. Next.
All right. See, this question I did know because I will say Spider-Man is my favorite Avengers movie. But question number 2.
Okay.
What was the name of Peter Parker's high school? A, Hancock High School, B, Midtown High School, or C, Westfield High School?
Did I see a video lately or recently where you're Spider-Girl driving around in LA in a car?
You might, Ted. We'll have to see. Got to keep your eye on the Fixed Stops Roundtable socials, the Ted Ing socials, and people might see that.
All right. A, Hancock High School, B, Midtown High School, C, is it Westfield High School? Put your answers in the chat. All right, Sophie, which is it?
It is B, Midtown High School.
Midtown High School. Okay, Peter Parker's high school. I didn't know Spider-Man was your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Third question.
Which is Tony Stark's daughter's name? A, Morgan, B, Ashley, or C, Tracy?
I should have watched all these movies with my daughter.
Still have time, Ted. We got a little over a month.
I know it's closing in, and I got to dress up too, right? Yeah, I need to. So, all right, everybody. What is Tony Stark's daughter's name? Is it A, Morgan, B, Ashley, C, Tracy? Put your answers in the chat.
For those of you that said A, you are correct. It is Morgan.
Oh, Morgan. Okay. All right. All right. Question number 4.
What is Pepper Potts allergic to? A, blueberries, B, peanuts, or C, strawberries?
I don't even know who Pepper Potts is.
You would know if you saw a photo.
Okay. All right. Is it A, blueberries, B, peanuts, C, strawberries?
Put it in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that said C, strawberries, you are correct.
Oh, all right. I was thinking strawberries. All right. Last one for tonight.
What were the last words Thanos spoke? A, I am unstoppable. B, I am inevitable. Or C, I'll be back.
And I know this one because you shared it with me before we started. So. Yeah. A, I am unstoppable. B, I am inevitable. Or C, I'll be back. Which is it, everybody?
Those of you that said B, you are correct.
I am inevitable. So it is B, everybody. All right. So we are now just about a month away from the big Avengers event. As we said just a few moments ago, coming up on November 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. Please join us there with our great friends Ed Roberts, Sarah Van Tyne, and Tully Williams, and so many more. You can get your complimentary tickets now at fixedopsroundtable.com. This is a great event. We have a lot of stuff going on for this one. And Sophie, very grateful to you and Wonder Woman, of course, for all that you're doing. So.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm super pumped.
All right, everybody. So we will see you next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. For our next After Dark show. We got a lot coming up between now and then, a lot of content coming out, and stay with us. By the way, are people allowed to dress up, you said, for this event?
Oh, people are encouraged to dress up, Ted. We need you in a costume.
All right, I'll have a costume by Monday. I'll be
all right. We'll hold you to it. You hear that, everybody? Monday.
I'll do it. You know it. All right, everybody. We'll see you Monday on After Dark at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Have a good night, y'all.